Hello and welcome back to the Off the Line Performance YouTube channel. Behind me is our 2021 Subaru BRZ, and we're going to be doing a clutch job in it. Let's try that one more time. Behind me is our 2021 Subaru BRZ, and we're going to be doing a clutch job on it today because Jay likes to beat the crap out of it. Anyway, this is going to be a super straightforward install. These cars are much simpler than the STIs because they're only rear-wheel drive. I'm not going to talk too much. Let's just get into it. First, we are going to remove the positive terminal of the battery, because we are going to be taking the starter off, and the starter has a direct live wire that goes to it from the battery, so we don't want to risk arcing anything out. We'll just kind of tuck that out of the way a little bit. Next up, there is a couple connectors buried back here. I might pull this support bar off just to give you guys a little bit better of a view. Okay. Now, on the automatic transmissions, there's a whole bunch more connectors back here, but since we're dealing with a manual, since we're doing a clutch job, there is just a couple that we got to get loose. There's a 12 mil here. It's a ground strap that goes to the bell housing, so we're going to get that loose. And then there's a gray connector and a brown connector. We're going to start getting those off too. Tight squeeze down here. Okay, got those out of the way. Now there's two 14s here on our slave cylinder. We're going to need to get those off. If you unbolt the slave like this and leave it on the car when you pull the transmission out, it makes it so you don't have to bleed the clutch when you put everything back together. So it saves you just a little bit of time. I like to just kind of prop it up on something just to keep it out of the way. That way when we're putting the transmission back in, it doesn't have a risk of getting in the way and stuff like that. All right, now we're going to get our starter wire and our starter signal off. That's just a little release tab on the signal, and then the starter wire itself, the power wire, is a 12 millimeter.
Kind of hard to film.
Yeah, it do be kind of hard to see, but I'm just loosening the 12 millimeter nut that's on the back of the starter, and then underneath that there's going to be a lock washer as well. So we're going to make sure that we don't lose that. I don't know why Subaru doesn't use flange nuts on the starter cables, but whatever. All right, now we got that out of the way. The last thing we got to undo to get the starter out is just the bell housing bolts. We're going to get the top one now, and then we'll get the bottom one from underneath the car, and then we'll pull the starter out from the bottom. Get this other top bell housing bolt. Jay, it's not about how big your wrench is, it's about how you use it. Tiny but mighty. This is a nice wrench. This is average wrench. 5 hours later, notice there are two different lengths of bell housing bolts on these, just like the STIs. The two long ones go on the starter, the short ones go everywhere else, so don't get those mixed up. All right, now it's finally time to raise the car up. Step one is going to be getting all of this underbody paneling off. So I'm going to take this felt one off and the aluminum one off. After that, we're going to take the front pipe here and the cat back off and get our drive shaft out, and then we'll reconvene. I think that's all of them. Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. And actually, we don't even need to take this one off, so we'll just leave that one as is. Okay, this off. Forewarning, if you're doing this in your garage, these two bolts right here on your front to overpipe flange, those really love to break. So if you live in the Rust Belt, I'd consider raising your car up, spraying those with some penetrant oil before you do this job. It might save you an afternoon. When I was doing mine on my FRS, when I first got it, they snapped in half. It sucked. All right. That one came loose. That's nice. This one looks considerably more crusty. Oh, yeah. We Gucci. Do we have any overpipes laying around we can toss on this thing?
That was yummy.
I don't think this hardware is going back on.
No.
While I work on taking the exhaust off, I'm actually going to loosen this drain plug here so the transmission can start draining its fluid out. It's just a Allen 10 to an Allen 10 socket before you start this project. Ooh, yeah. I don't know, probably 45 seconds ago. I'm gonna blanket guess at 45 seconds ago. Then I didn't have to take this off. You do have to take it off because we're gonna prop the engine up just a little bit so we can slide the transmission out. Okay, we got our catback unbolted and the front pipe to overpipe flange unbolted. I'm gonna pull the overpipe off. We actually don't have to take the catback off. If you needed the extra space for pulling down the drive shaft in your garage, if you're doing this on your back, it's not a horrible idea just to provide yourself that extra little bit of clearance, but we're gonna leave ours on. Get our front pipe out of the way. I'm telling them that, Jay. It's important to note when you are getting ready to do this job, don't leave your parking brake on because you'll be at this point right now and you'll go to spin your drive shaft and then you can't. And you'll be like, oh, I gotta get out from underneath the car and everything. So
really strong.
if you're really strong, then maybe. But no matter how strong you are, if you can overpower your parking brake, I think you need to adjust your parking brake. Too many e-brake rips, you know? All right, now we got our two 14 millimeter carrier bolts. Watch your head. Flick. Hi-ya. Damn. Okay. Did I take them all off? I've done that before. Okay. Now, one of the most tedious parts of this process is taking the factory shifter assembly off. It's just kind of a pain in the butt sometimes. Let me get a rag so that's not dripping on me. Before we loosen the rest of the bell housing bolts, I'm gonna take this transmission and I'm gonna droop it down just a hair. And it's gonna make getting these plungers out for the shifter out just a little bit easier. If you can see right here, it's got these little plunger deals. And all you need to get them out is just a flathead screwdriver. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna push it towards the rear of the car and it's gonna pivot. It's gonna pivot up and then you just pry it out and it should pop right out. Sometimes this heat blanket that's on the side of the tunnel can kind of get in your way, but for the most part, it should just kind of come right out. And as I'm taking them out, I'm gonna take this tab, right? And it faces like this on the car. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rotate it so I can pull it out. And then as soon as this lip clears the transmission, I'm gonna rotate it back down just to give myself that little bit of extra space. Last thing on the shifter assembly that we gotta take off is right in here. Take that off. Then there's gonna be a washer right there. Sometimes on the older models I know, at least, these can kind of be a pain in the butt to get out. But what you're gonna do is, see that plunger right there? You're gonna shove that towards the passenger side or driver's side of the car. All right there. Oh. Man. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes these things just get really freaking stuck in there. There it goes. Once you get it to pop out just a little bit, then usually you can flip over to the other side and just kind of pry it out. All right, there. Shifter assembly is all loose. Now we're bell housing bolts away from taking this thing out. Ours were pretty tight, a little corroded in there. It is what it is. Gonna get all these bell housing bolts out. There's an inspection cover on the driver's side. I don't know why they put it in there, to be honest, but It's not like you can change the clutch out with it, but then we'll get these bottom dowels done. Now I already have the last bell housing bolt loose. It's the one holding the starter in. So we're gonna pull the starter down now. It has a very large ground strap on it. Out comes the starter. Now we're ready to pull this thing out. I have to lower the car just a little bit because, you know, because Scott sold us jacks that don't go up high enough. Thanks, Scott. Right now I'm just propping the engine up just a little bit just so we can get a little better angle to pull this transmission out. All the bell housing bolts are done. Everything should be out of the way. I'm gonna grab a pry bar, and thankfully Subaru and Toyota actually left us a nice little pry point right here on the bell housings. All right, so the BRZ needs a sway bar. I went to pry on it and I just watched it move and I'm like, that's not normal. All right, full disclosure, we bought this thing used and it had definitely been thrashed on. Okay, well that's interesting to find. We'll get this thing out of here. Under here we have our factory clutch. We're gonna unbolt all these 12 millimeters. There's 6 of them. Sorry, wait, yeah, 6 of them. I counted right. 6 of them. Pull our pressure plate and friction disc out. We're just gonna reuse the flywheel that's on it. Typically, if you're doing this at home or if it was a customer car, we would machine the flywheel, but this thing's gonna get beat on anyway. We just gotta get this thing off and out of here. Oh yeah, she's warm. We're gonna take our Company 23 alignment tool, available on offthelineperformance.com, and our competition clutch stage 2, also available at offthelineperformance.com, and we are going to set them on. There is some dowel pins on the actual flywheel that will help locate the pressure plate. And then you just take your alignment tool and get all this set on. These cars are so easy to do clutches on, so easy. It is a service that we offer. If you have a BRZ or an FRS or an 86 and you don't want to do this at home, call us or email us. We can knock this out for you. Heck, I'll even do it myself personally, just for you. Wow. Just for you. Get all these pressure plate bolts put back on. It's worth noting if you're doing a extremely heavy duty pressure plate, comp stage 2's very, very mild. It's got a almost like stock feel in the pedal. But if you're doing like a stage 3, 4, twin disc, or like a 6-puck or something like that, the factory clutch fork is known to break at this point right here just because there's too much pressure on it. We have billet ones in stock, and then they also come with a new pivot ball on the back. So this one, like I said, this one's gonna be fine, so we're just gonna leave it as is. But it's worth noting, if you're putting an extremely heavy duty clutch in it, if you're drifting or something like that, 6-puck, something that's got a really harsh grab so you can kick the tire out, get a billet clutch fork. All right, when you're putting these transmissions in, what you should aim for are these bottom bell housing studs. As soon as you can get those into the hole, then you can kind of lift the transmission up a little bit and just kind of slide it right in. Speed it up, dude. ×2 speed. Oh, crap. All right, so at this point, I like to loosen up the strap that we have here. And then, like I said, I have those bottom ones started. I'm literally just going to get a good stable stance here. I'm just gonna push it right on, just like that. Now, at this point, it is on, but the input shaft of the transmission isn't all the way into the pilot bearing. I have a nifty little tool. It's a cutout drive shaft, and I just spin the rear here, and it helps it go into place. Let's take the drive shaft here. Put that down for just a second. You spin it. All right, there it goes. You're good now. See how much thread we have sticking out of the bottom of the bell housing right here? Before you go putting any bell housing bolts in, I know it can get frustrating if you're laying on your back, fighting it and fighting it and fighting it, and you can't get it to go in. Whatever you do, until you have that much thread sticking out of the bottom of the transmission, do not pull the transmission in with the bolts, because the reason that not going in for you is because, like I said, the input shaft is hitting the pilot bearing. And if you go pulling it in with the bolts, you'll mess up that pilot bearing, and then you'll have to do even more work than you've already done. So just take a breather. If you're fighting it for a long time, go inside, you know, take a drink of water, you know, watch some TikToks or something like that, you know, go check out OTL Grayson, and then scroll through some of my dumb videos, and then go try it again. Take the 5-minute break. It helps every time. What I like to do is start with one bolt on the driver's side of the engine, and then one bolt or nut on the passenger side, and you just kind of tag team them until it's all the way in. If you start on one side, there's a chance that it could go in cockeyed, and then again, it could mess something up inside the transmission. So try to do it evenly, like you're torquing a wheel on, you know, think of it that way. So I'm gonna hit not the very topmost bell housing bolt over here, but the one just below it that's on that dust cover. And then I'm going to tighten the nut on the stud that's sticking out over here. Done. Now, even with just those two on, the transmission will stay in place. So we can get our transmission jack out of the way, we can get our pole jack out of the way, and I can raise this dang car up so I can stand up straight. We're gonna start by putting that shift rod back into the shifter assembly and the transmission. Get that in, and then basically just reverse the process that we've done thus far. All right, that's in. Get our washer and our clip. Put those on.
So hard to see.
Yeah. Let me provide you some light, Jaden.
Well, it's just because it's like on top of the trailer.
Provides light, blocks with hand. Got our plungers back in. Got the main shift rod clip back in. We're gonna get our transmission mount put up in place, and then we'll throw our drive shaft back in. The trick here is to get this onto the rear and then just kind of lift the center up. I'll just throw one of these nuts in, or one of these bolts in, my bad. Carrier here put in.
Not bad, but see the sway bar? Oh, look at the sway bar.
Well, dude, it wasn't different. Get our starter. Slide that in there. Don't forget the big ground strap that goes on here. Throw the front pipe back on. Should be all right, dude. Fancy little Harbor Freight transfer pump here. There's a fill plug on the side of the transmission, just above the drain plug. Fill up the transmission fluid. We have, didn't even get on me, dude. You see that? Didn't even get on me. We have some Motul 7590 gear fluid that is also available on our website. Okay, so we got the transmission filled up now. Just got to finish up putting the bell housing bolts in. Got to finish up our starter wiring. And then we're done. That's it. It's that simple. All right, that's going to do it for this clutch job. Like I said, super simple, as you saw in the video. Very, very basic and straightforward. If it's your first clutch job that you're doing on your own, super easy to get into. You're not going to run into many issues. The only special tool you really need is the alignment tool. But most clutches that you're going to buy are going to come with a plastic one. Those work okay. Go check out that Company 23 billet one that I put on. Those are on our website. The clutch is on our website. The fluid is on our website. Everything you need to do this job is on our website. So go check that out. We'll see you in the next video.